Thank you, Laska Hirlock, and I move the motion this afternoon here. Minister, you're very welcome to the House this afternoon to discuss this motion, which deals with the very foundation of our democracy as representatives of the people, local government. All of us in this House have a deep understanding of just how foundational local government is in the running of this country. Not a week goes by that local government issues aren't raised by a member of the Seanad, or a local issue isn't communicated to us from one of our city and county councillors. They are the first point of contact for the millions of people of this country whom we represent, and they are the first line of defence in solving so many of the problems that threaten the social and civic life of our towns and our areas. In spite of this, Ireland's local government has been subjected to continuous and systemic disempowerment across multiple national governments. The representative bodies have been fighting tooth and nail against the steady erosion of the ability of councillors to effect the real change that they are mandated by their electorate to bring about. While I, along with Senators Craughwell and Boyhan, feel that our short and concise motion speaks for itself, the main pillars of the problem are these three. 1. The dominance of the central government over the local. 2. The dominance of the executive over elected members. And 3. The complete lack of structural consultation by the government with the representative bodies of our council. We have seen great results arising out of cooperative engagement between your department, Minister, and the associations of the local government and the Local Authority Members Association. The issue of the elected members' gratuity scheme and the pay and non-pay supports for councillors has seen great progress as a result of consultation and cooperation. Of course, further consultation and examination of the situation on an ongoing basis will always be necessary. The granting of a security allowance to councillors was a wise step in the right direction. As the political realm becomes even more tumultuous, the physical safety of our elected members and their families is more important than ever. While it is unfortunate that the grant is only half that of what national politicians receive, it is certainly a step in the right direction and a move that is welcomed. But, Minister, there are many more areas where serious work needs to be looked at and where I think a change in approach or in policy is necessary from this government. One of the elephants in the room is the Planning and Development Bill, many of the provisions of which amount to huge blows to the democratic mandate of councillors when it comes to the new Code of Planning legislation. The bill's copper fastening of the centralised approach to planning does not take account of local circumstances and needs as identified by the elected members. Local authorities, as planning authorities, are no longer the prime movers in terms of spatial planning and in this country, but are now bound by a rigid straitjacket of plans at national and at regional levels. The AILG has raised that the draft bill proposes that the duration of the development plan will be extended to 10 years from the existing 6. Such a long duration will open up a democratic deficit whereby all the elected members of the planning authority may not be able to make an input to the spatial planning of their locality. Furthermore, the pace of change in modern Ireland and modern life under the headline of climate, economy and technology is too dynamic to allow such a lengthy interval between development plans. It is quite clear that the power being given to the Minister to issue binding national planning statements and directives will have the effect of excessively centralising planning policy. It would be much more appropriate for the Minister to consult the representative bodies of the elected members of planning authorities in advance of issuing binding national statements. Minister, councillors represent citizens and communities. With regards to judicial review, it really does harm the ethos that judicial review is being limited and in some circumstances to incorporated bodies, thus denying individuals and community groups the opportunity to exercise their concerns about a particular development through the courts. This power should be granted to councillors in order to allow them to best represent the views of their constituents. These are just some of the steps that could be taken to empower local government, but as our motion states, the last year and a half has shown the pattern of systemic disempowerment from the government. Removal of the Section 1A3 reserve function for disposal of County Council owned land to the Land Development Agency. Removal of Part 8 planning reserve function until December 24 for the Council's own housing developments. Removal of councillors from governing authorities of universities under the Higher Education Authority Act 2022. Councillors will be removed from their role on joint policing committees once they are replaced by safety partnerships when the Policing, Security and Community Safety Bill 2023 completes all stages in the Seanad. And we, as independents, have put down motions to stop that. There is zero consultation on the government's guidelines on traffic work procedures, Section 38 of the Road Traffic Act 1994. And this has had such far-reaching implications for the public and our councillors. What is the explanation for this, Minister? Why does the government want so badly to hamstring their own county councillors? It seems like it is government policy to steadily suck the power up through the ranks and consolidate it at the very top in Cabinet at the expense of all other elected reps. I think that the request here today, Minister, is very clear. We need communication, we need cooperation, we need a well-balanced system on government that affords local government sufficient weight and appropriate powers and resources to carry out their duties in service of our democracy. The AILG and LAMA have been involved in round-table discussions by government. I have zero doubt that it would bring about huge benefits for literally everybody involved. I hope you can accept this motion, Minister, and I commend it to the House.